Hey folks, Tim Enloe here today, once again with All About Milton. We have 2010 has come to us, and it looks like this year we're having an awful lot of issues already coming before the council, and one obviously has been cell towers evidently are coming to Milton as well. And much like anything, there are folks for it and there are folks against it. And today we're with Mrs. Kay Norvell. Ms. Norvell, good to see you. Thank you for being here. And like everybody always knows, we always ask 4 questions, and then we're going to let Kay share her perspective on the cell tower issue. Kay, where do you live?
2305 Saddle Springs Drive in Milton.
And that's Sunnybrook Farms.
Sunnybrook Farms subdivision.
And how long have you folks lived in the area?
Since May of 08.
May of 08.
About
okay.
20 months.
20 months. Okay, okay. And you gave me a little tour of the place. How much land do you have your folks have here?
We have 3.2 acres.
Oh, okay. So it's a decent amount of size. The format now is yours. Tell folks why we're here.
Okay. We originally moved out here to Milton to bring our horses. We'd had them in Roswell for about 18 years and lived off of 92, which when we moved there was not that developed, and became extremely highly densely developed, and had 2 very large water towers go in not far from our property. So decided it was about time to leave the area and come out to a less densely populated area for our horses, and just to enjoy the scenic environment. So we came out to Milton, drove around, and decided that this was a beautiful area that was very conducive to equestrian communities, which is what Sunnybrook Farms is. Everyone out here has acreage, 3 acres or more. So we were just thrilled to have found it, and the whole area is surrounded by other equestrian communities as well. It's not densely populated. So.
And I know that there is a concern you have regarding the proposed cell tower going in. Share with us your points of concern regarding the tower.
Well, I got a letter 2 weeks ago from Milton that this was going to be coming. An application had been made by T-Mobile to place a 154-foot monopole across this, adjacent to our subdivision. I say across the street from me because that's where it will be, out my front door. And I began to do research on cell towers, health-wise, aesthetic, because I think that's the first thing that comes to mind is you think, I don't want to look out on that. That's going to be ugly. My property values will go down. And then what are the health issues? Well, what I found was that because of a 1996 Federal Communications Act, city municipalities aren't able to deny cell towers on aesthetics or on property values or health issues. You can't even bring them up. So I thought, well, okay, that's a weak area. What else can I look into? Because I really don't want to look out on this. And I found that one thing that can be done is to look at coverage maps. And so I started thinking, well, I have Verizon. This is T-Mobile. I have no drop calls. I have excellent service in the area. I think I'll poll my neighbors and see, well, how do you feel about this, and what's going on? What can we do? Do you have good coverage? Do we really need another tower? And come to find out, no one has drop calls. No one has, even my husband has T-Mobile, lives here, has no drop calls. I began to wonder, is this just so T-Mobile can get a larger slice of the market? Because I know their coverage and their customer base is not as strong as Verizon and AT&T. So as we delved into it and realized that this was an area that we could focus on and really spend some time, my whole area here, I started, I digress. I should have said we met as a neighborhood group and decided to get started with a petition. Didn't know what kind of support we would have. I thought, okay, I'm kind of alone. I have very strong opinions about things, and I tend to sometimes get myself in trouble, but I've always believed that if you believe strongly in something, you really should follow your heart. And so we met, and I was surprised at the number of people in the surrounding neighborhoods are feeling the same way. It's not just me stepping out on my front porch looking at the cell tower. It's people throughout the neighborhood. It's people across the street from Seven Gables Farms. There are 5 subdivisions represented on my petition. And in talking with them, they also said, we don't have problems with cell coverage. So it became a bigger issue in that, what is the real issue here? Is it aesthetics, or is it the fact that we just need to stop the proliferation of excessive cell towers being built in Milton? I think this is an issue that Milton has not had to deal with yet, and so they're in the process of writing more stringent codes, but that won't help us because our petition was filed before the new covenants, the new codes would have been written. So we are in this battle to really, it ends up being against T-Mobile and their ability to produce evidence that they really do have a coverage problem here. It's not, Milton is not under law to provide cell coverage for each provider. They are only, according to the 1996 Act, required to provide coverage. Doesn't matter if it's Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, just provide coverage for 911 calling purposes. And I've discovered all of this through my research that I don't think most people really know. And I decided to really push forward with this because I feel like most people who would battle this, and I found this on the internet when I was doing my research, they just feel like their hands are tied, that they have no voice, that these telecommunication companies are so large and they bully municipalities. They bully the citizens of the area saying, well, do you have a cell phone? Well, then you're going to have to put up with these towers. And it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. So in doing my research, I found that in California there's new equipment that is not much larger than a suitcase that they place on existing utility poles. They're not building towers any longer. So it makes me wonder, why are we looking into building future towers? And we need to look down the road into new technology, because what has happened in some municipalities is once the towers are no longer needed, they're abandoned.
I see.
And then they become an eyesore, they become hazards. They fall on buildings, they fall on people. The cell tower companies abandon them, which is another concern that needs to be written in the laws and regulations of each city ordinance, which are not necessarily there. So, in summary, I've come a long way from first just getting this notice, thinking, I don't want to look out on that. I moved out here for a serene environment, to enjoy my horses, to live on a piece of property without interference from cell towers, water towers. I really thought I was safe because I was in a residential area that is fully developed except for this 30-acre farm. So I was really kind of taken aback when I realized that residential areas really are not protected, and we need to write in the city ordinances protections for residential areas for cell towers, so that this does not become an issue. I know there are court cases where municipalities have won against